Good morning, everyone. We're continuing here in the words of the CHOFETZ CHAIM as he's describing the concept of to'eles, that if I need information about a person for business dealings, a partnership, for a shidduch, and I want to know if it's the right person to get involved with or not, I'm allowed to ask very pointed questions to a person that has information to be able to receive their answers, even if there is genus, even if there is degrading comments and words that they say, in order that it's going to benefit me, that if I shouldn't get involved with this person for business or shidduchim or the like, I will be saved as a result of that. However, as we pointed out, I'm not allowed to accept the words that were said as true. That would be Kabbalist Lashon Hara, that would be accepting Lashon Hara. However, to be chayshesh, to be suspect that what they're saying is true, that much I'm allowed to do. Now, furthermore, you should know that if Ruvain, for example, is asking Levi to tell him about Shimon, so when Levi responds over here with these negative words, Levi's doing nothing wrong. The name of the Avar Bazeh Alifne Ivelositein Michshel. Don't think that Ruvain, who's asking the questions, is over on lifnei iver loitite michshel, that you're putting a stumbling block in front of the blind. Because now that Levi knows why Reuven is asking for this, which means I have to explain to the person why I'm asking for this information. I'm not asking that you should tell me Lashon Hara about Shimon. Rather, I'm thinking of going into a partnership, and I want to know if he's a reliable person or not. So therefore, even now, if Levi will tell over negative things about Shimon, so there's no prohibition of what Levi has said. So he wasn't intending to tell over negative things about his friend. He's telling over the truth. Because he wants to make sure that Ruvain gets the greatest benefit from his responses, and he'll know that if he should get involved with this person or not get involved with him. So I now, who am being asked, for example, I'm being asked to tell over to Ruvain the information over here about Shimon. So I have almost like a mitzvah, says the CHOFETZ CHAIM, to be honest and open and explain whether or not this person is reliable or not. You should make a shidduch with him or not. And therefore, I'm not saying anything wrong. Like I explained elsewhere, says the CHOFETZ CHAIM, there's a mutter min adin. This is what's called mutter min adin. It's completely permissible in such a case to tell over the negative words about Shimon, who's being asked about, in order to protect and to save somebody else from making a big mistake. Now, however, says the CHOFETZ CHAIM, but when Levi is telling over the information, he has to be very careful not to exaggerate anything. As he can't say anything more than he knows to be true. There are also additional conditions that must be met in order to say over these words. And that we'll learn when we get to the 9th chapter about Rechilus, the details over there, how it is that you're going to have to be careful, even when you are allowed to tell over words that could be degrading, you have to know how to do it in the right way. Now we'll see, Be'ez Hashem, there's a Haggah, there is a longer explanation. Perhaps we'll get there tomorrow to explain this. However, if Reuven never told Levi why it is that he's asking these questions, and he just makes himself like, he happens to be asking about Shimon. What do you think about that guy? In order that Levi will tell him whether or not he's a good guy or not. Then in such a case, says the CHOFETZ CHAIM, Ruvain, who is like asking happenstance, what could you tell me about this guy Shimon over here, Shimon. So then it's called lifnei iver. You are putting a stumbling block in front of your friend. Shal yada yaseh chavero issa, because through your questions, your friend Levi now is going to do the prohibition of lashon hara. Im yasaper lav dvarim shel doifi. If he ends up telling over not nice things about Shimon, afilu emisu, even if it's true, kasher be'anu v'makom achar, like we explained previously, the issa lashon hara. Everybody agrees that even when you're telling over the truth, it's still lashon hara. And no one now, one is permitted to give over negative information if he's doing it with the intent that yitzmach mizeh tov la'acher, that by telling you something negative, it's going to be a benefit for you. But that's only if I'm telling you that I'm asking you for as a benefit. But if not, meaning if Reuven never told Levi why it is that he's asking him the questions, then he's not allowed to say anything. Even though that by saying over these words of lashon hara, it will end up ultimately being beneficial to Reuven, since that Levi, when he was telling over the information about Shimon, had in mind to put him down. Therefore, you have to do it in the right way, which is that Reuben says to Levi, please, I'm about to go into a big, major business deal with Shimon over here. What can you tell me? Is he a reliable person, someone I can trust and is honest, that I should get involved with? So even when you're allowed to ask, you have to be very upfront why you're asking, and only in that way is the person going to be able to respond in the truth of the character and the nature of this person, even if it's negative and it's bad. Have a wonderful day.